Servants of the Emperor, Briggso here, and in this video we're going over a veteran build in Warhammer 40k, Darktide. I'm not sure if you've seen, but the Columnus Mark V has been getting a lot of love lately. There's a very good reason for that, and that's because it's a very good gun. Arguably a little bit too good, but we're going to be taking full advantage of it in this build today. This build is what I would consider a meta autogun build, because it's just so good and it shreds away everyone's armor very quickly. A big shout out to Tanner Lindberg, who brought this to my attention through one of his YouTube videos. Go and check him out if you haven't already. I make Darktide content quite regularly, so if you like what you see here, then consider subscribing to this channel. If you have multiple classes and have a Zealot, I recently released a video where I went over a ranged Zealot build that really helps you with Melk's ranged weekly assignments. So like I said before, I do consider this build meta, and by meta I mean what people are currently running in high tier level content that's getting them through the game. I've adapted it slightly to make it a little bit more like my veteran swinger build that I released not too long ago. The two builds are very similar, so I've just tweaked a couple of things so they're a bit more alike. So it means that we get the best of both worlds to use the autogun to shred through things at range, and then also use our melee weapon to tear through hordes and things like that. But enough of the introductions, let's get straight into this video where I go over this what I consider a meta veteran build. First of all, for our primary melee weapon, I'm using the Cadia Mark 13G Assault Chainsword, and I'm pairing this with Devastating Strike and Shred. Shred gives us lots of critical hits by giving us +4 bonus critical chance on chained hit, and that stacks 5 times. Devastating Strike then takes advantage of those critical hits by giving us 80% cleave for 5 seconds when we get them. Our Chainsword is our main way of getting through hordes, but it can also be helpful for taking out mutants by revving it up. For the perks, pick what you like, however I've got a +10% melee critical hit damage on here, seeing as we're getting crits quite a lot. For the second perk, choose what you want, but I got a +8% damage to elites. I do also want to point out that you can use this with any melee weapon of your choice. The Chain Axe is also a very good option to take place of the Chainsword, so don't sleep on that. Moving on to our ranged weapon, it's obviously the Columnus Mark V infantry autogun. The 3 blessings that I would really advise to aim for this is any combination of Death Spitter, Dum Dum, and Fire Frenzy, but Dum Dum taking priority. The Columnus is a weapon that I did sleep on. I have been choosing the Grya over it, however now that I've got a good roll on one, or a good-ish roll on one, honestly, this thing is amazing, and with the talents that we're going to be taking, it turns it into an absolute beast. Before we move on to this though, let's go through the Curios. You can use any combination of toughness, health, or wound Curios to your liking, and for the perks I would recommend putting on stamina regeneration as priority, but otherwise you can kind of choose what you want to adapt to your playstyle once again. But with the weapons and Curios out the way, let's go through the talent tree. So starting off, we go down the left hand side of the tree and we take Long Shot, which deals up to +20% range damage, which is reduced the closer to the target that we are. This helps up our damage, as generally the Columnus is a mid to close range weapon. We then move over and we take Volley Adept, which gives us +30% reload speed when we kill an elite or specialist enemy. The less time reloading means more time firing, which is always good for everyone. We then go down the tree and pick up a +5% health boost and also a +15 toughness boost. And then we move on to our blitz ability, which is the crack grenades. The crack grenades are particularly useful for taking out groups of crushers and bulwarks, and also doing good chip damage to monstrosities. We can 1v1 crushers quite easily with our Columnus, however when we see a group of crushers, that's when it's time for these grenades. Moving down from here though, we then take a +5% health boost and then get Grenade Tinkerer. Grenade Tinkerer improves our crack grenades by giving them +50% damage, which helps us get rid of the aforementioned groups of crushers and bulwarks. And as I always say, more damage, more success. Adding to that, we also take our Aura, which is Fire Team, which gives us +5% damage for you and your allies in Coherency. From there we then move down to get a +5% damage reduction, and then take Demolition Stockpile, which replenishes 1 grenade every 60 seconds. Demolition Stockpile is probably one of the best talents in the game, so it's an obvious pickup while going down this tree. Moving down from there though, we then take our combat ability of choice, which is Voice of Command, and we're also going to be pairing this with Duty and Honor. With this combination of talents, it means that we're going to stagger all of our enemies around us, gain all of our toughness back, and gain +50 toughness that exceeds our maximum for ourselves and for our allies. Having toughness on demand is extremely useful and can stop us going down if used in the right situations. From here we're then going to pick up the 3 top operative modifiers, which are going to be a +5% range damage boost, a +25% suppression boost, and a +5% melee damage boost. Going down the left hand tree first, we then pick up Precision Strikes, which gives us +30% weak spot damage, and this is extremely useful. This in combination with the other talents that we're going to be using means that we can pump out some serious damage with our Columnus. Moving on from here, we then also get Fully Loaded, which gives us +25% ammo. This is almost a necessity in this build as we rinse through ammo so fast. We then finish off this tree by picking up Superiority Complex, which gives us plus 15% base damage to all elite enemies. Most elites have flak armor on them, so having this and a plus 25% damage to flak armor on our Columnus as a perk means that we can absolutely melt through elites. Moving on from here, we then go down the middle tree and pick up for the Emperor. For the Emperor gives us plus 10% base damage to our melee and our ranged weapon when we activate our combat ability, and this lasts for 5 seconds. Moving on from there, we then take Tactical Awareness, which combat ability cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds on specialist enemy kills. I do kind of wish that this was for elites instead, but anything to reduce our combat ability is great here. Moving on from here though, we take Iron Will, which gives us plus 50% reduced toughness damage if above 75% toughness. This helps us out with our overall survivability, so it's a must pick up from me. Progressing further in this tree though, we then take a plus 25 toughness boost, and then move down to Bring It Down, which gives us plus 20% damage to Ogryns and monstrosities. Moving on from here though, we then go down the right hand side of the tree and we pick up Close Quarters Kill Zone. Close Quarters Kill Zone gives us plus 50% close damage for 10% on combat ability use. Close damage is a keyword that you'll probably hear quite a lot in this build, as both of the blessings on our Columnus also use this keyword. In my research, close damage is different from weapon to weapon. However, what I can confirm is that the Columnus considers close to be not that close, and is actually pretty generous on the range that it'll activate on. Moving on from here though, we take a stamina regeneration boost, and then move down to a very key talent in this build, which is Onslaught. Onslaught reads that continuous hit to a single target applies 2.5% brittleness for 5 seconds to the target, and this stacks 16 times. This in combination with the Columnus's fire rate means that we can apply a lot of brittleness to our enemies, and it's one of the most important talents that we need to pick up to melt through crushers. Moving on from here though, we take a plus 25 toughness boost, and then move on to Trench Fighter Drill, which gives us plus 10% melee attack speed, which is always nice to help us tear through hordes with our melee weapon. We don't stop increasing our melee attack speed there though, as we then pick up our keystone, which is Weapon Specialist. I've covered Weapon Specialist quite a bit here, but in short, when you kill things with your melee weapon, you get range stacks, and when you kill things with your ranged weapon, you get a single melee stack. The melee stack increases our melee attack speed by 15%, and also increases our dodge speed and dodge distance by 10%, and this lasts for 10 seconds. The range stack gives you a plus 2% range attack speed as well as a 33% range critical hit chance on your next shot. This lasts for 5 seconds and we can have up to 10 stacks of Range Specialist. Finishing up, we then take Always Prepared, which means that activating Range Specialist replenishes 3.3% of your missing ammo in your clip from your reserve, rounded up for each stack. The whole point of this build is that we want to use our chainswords to sweep through hordes and then use our Columnus and our grenades to take down everything else. Having a stack of melee weapon specialists means that we can have an insane attack speed and cleave through hordes very quickly. By killing things though, we'll then also gain ammo back into our Columnus and we can repeat this cycle multiple times. It's very similar to the Swingers Veteran build that I made, however this time we're taking advantage of the Columnus in all of its glory. If you're still unsure of how you would effectively use this build, then that's not a problem. I'm going to jump into some gameplay footage of me on an Auric Damnation mission and explain what I'm doing as I'm going through it. If you're jumping out of the video here, then that's not a problem at all. Thank you very much for watching. If I could just ask that you consider liking this video and consider subscribing to my channel, then it would really mean a lot to me. But anyway, now that we've gone through the build, let's go through the gameplay footage and I'll explain to you how to use it. So obviously what we want to do with this build is we want to run up onto a bunch of guys in a horde, try and get through them with our melee weapon, get those stacks of Range Specialist, blast through whatever's left, get another stack of melee specialist, which increases our attack speed, that kind of thing, and it's just a vicious cycle basically. But yeah, I've been really enjoying using this. I have been testing out different variations, and I do feel like this is kind of the strongest variation. Maybe that's just because it fits into my playstyle, but yeah, we shall see. I can see quite a group of stuff over there, so we're going to get a grenade on that. Now we can go into melee mode, or melee mode I should say, and just start swinging through this. Activate this in here. There's quite a few maulers in there, so I'm going to get another grenade in there. And we're going to... Whoa, that's a lot of people from behind me. Let's try and slip back into... that's a problem. We can't get through here. That's a lot of maulers once again. Switch back into melee mode. Just try and... get those dodges. With that sneaky, sneaky boy. Alright, but we're up, we're up. he's now dead as well. Alright, overall, managed to control the situation pretty darn well. So we didn't get our range specialist in there, so we can just take down this guy. Now we do. And get up into this horde. We've got 19 shots where we can shoot in. Activate our melee specialist again. Tear through more guys. Okay, now that that's out, we've got more shots. We can just tear into this horde. So our columnist is very good at getting through hordes as well. It's not, you know, don't sleep on it to just try and poke through hordes and stuff like that with it. With Dum Dum and either Fire Frenzy or anything like that, it just adds to the power and then just makes it an absolute machine. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. We just want to use it for kill one or two enemies when we're in the middle of a horde, switch back to our melee weapon, and jobs are good. He just ran me through the door. That was strange. Whoa, he came out of nowhere. Not again. I think I hear a bomber behind us, so yeah, he's got him. That's cool. Right, so I was going to try and show off then the 1v1 in the crushes, just with the columnists. Alright, we've got a group of bulwarks here. This is where we definitely want to chuck all of our grenadage, get those out, shoot into all of this. Wing through this. To be fair, I've not been using my combat ability probably as much as I should have been doing, so... Oh, bear the blender. Okay. We good. Grab a bit of this. Heal. Down here. Another good tip for this build is definitely crouch. It makes your accuracy so much better. Columnist in general, it has got a fairly nice recoil pattern. However, you can make it even better just by crouching. Dare I say that we could use the marksman keystone? No, that's blasphemy in its own right. No one likes that keystone. That shark, if you watch this, please change that keystone. I think even if they just made it so that you could walk and you didn't lose stacks, I think it'd be way better. But with that grenade, use that combat ability, get in there. Okay. There's still that sniper hanging about? Is he gone? He is still here. I hears you. So one thing I like to do is throw your grenade and then shoot at it. And then it should, in theory, if it's got all that brittleness on it, do more damage. That I've not tested properly, but it kind of feels like it does, so it's I don't know. Good, maybe a tip, maybe a tip. I'll do some more testing on it. Actually get confirmation if that does work. In theory, it should though. So, where's that guy? Alright, let's see if I can... No, they're all dead. They're all dead. Before I'm trying to demonstrate here. So you can 1v1 a Crusher. If there is a scenario, I'll try and show it off, but I'm with a pretty well-gelled team here, so we're just taking them out before anything can happen. Oh, what a nice net. Glad I'm at the back. Alright, we've got guys coming from behind us though, so I'll take these guys from behind. I should probably be careful how I say that. I'm just going to push back a little bit. Let's get that. Push him back into the fire. Need to get that guy out. Oh! Glad I managed to get my melee weapon out then. Ah. Nice. There's some Crushers. Those two are taking care of those. Wood can take care of this horde. Because I don't think they come through if you're standing at the door. No, they do. Boy, okay. I'm not standing at this door anymore. Does that work? I mean, yeah, okay, wow. I learned something new today. You don't have to stand at that door. You can just stand there and attack instead. Alright, that's quite cool. A lot of the time as well, you can just hit fire this thing. If you really want to, you just go for it. Hit fire, why not? Obviously, you don't get that precision damage, but you've got enough ammo. Just go for it. Oh, I'm in the fire and the flames. Man, this thing just shreds through hordes and stuff. It's just a good all-round weapon. And then having it backed up by the by our like increased melee attack speed and things like that, it just goes in hand so well. I've never had so many compliments before. It's gonna make me blush. Oh, we have got a bit of a run here. If we get some grenades down, it'll help us cut through a little bit. Just embody the walking blender a little bit. Are we all in? We are all in. Nice, that didn't feel too hard at all. But I think that just goes to show that this build just works very effectively. You know, we did some good damage, although I'm very impressed by Sigmar Mail, getting almost 800k damage, so that's quite cool. But yeah, I mean, this build is very, very good. I do think it works quite well. I think there's some good aspects of it. You know, the fact that you have an all-rounder weapon being the Columnus just works so well. Then you've got the backup of having, you know, when you kill stuff with your melee weapon, then you can switch over and you've got a little bit of ammo in there to then get you take down a couple more and then repeat the cycle. That works very, very nicely for me. So yeah, overall, liking the build. If you like this build, then please, if you could like this video and consider subscribing to my channel, that would mean the absolute world to me. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you very much, and have a nice day.